Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jelinna, and here with Vanessa, Emily, and Shia, as part of Rocketfuel today, we'll be presenting our findings and recommendations for the TaskaBella digital marketing campaign experiment, run from November 2015 to February 2016. In this presentation, the impact and success of the display advertising campaign will be holistically evaluated based on 4 key areas: the overall campaign performance, the profitability of the campaign, the effectiveness of advertising, as well as the consumer responses to advertising. So firstly, regarding the effectiveness of the display advertising campaign, the overall increase in percentage of conversion rates of the control group and the test group, increasing from 1.79% to 2.55%, as well as the incremental lift of 29.8%, highlights the overall success of the real display advertising campaign. To further highlight the financial return and impact of the campaign run across that year, I will now hand over to Shia, who will evaluate the profitability of the campaign.
Thanks, Jelinna. We then evaluated the profitability of the campaign by calculating the costs and returns of running this campaign. The price of the handbag is approximately $100, so taking into consideration the cost of conversions, the profit for each converted user averaged $40. Thus, the profit of the campaign is the profit per customer times the total number of users multiplied by the rate of conversions of campaign users minus the control group. Thus, the profit of the campaign was $173,719. Then we calculated the total cost of the campaign, which is the aggregate cost of the control group and the cost of running the campaign. Using the CPM of $9 for every 1,000 impressions, the control group costs equal $5,242.33 and was determined by the total number of impressions from the control group multiplied by the CPM per 1,000 impressions, while the campaign cost was the total number of impressions in the test group multiplied by the CPM per 1,000 impressions, giving us a campaign cost of $126,132.31. By summing these two values, we estimate the total cost of the campaign to be $131,374.64. Using the previous two results, we were able to determine the return on investment of this campaign. By taking the profits from the campaign and deducting the total estimated cost of the campaign, then dividing this value by the total estimated cost of the campaign, this gave us a return of investment of 32.23%. This campaign was relatively successful as the profit earned from the campaign was notably greater than the cost of running the campaign. And finally, the opportunity cost of the control group was $7,151.20, calculated by multiplying the number of control group users by the $40 profit per converted user by the conversion difference between the test group and control group, which is 2.55% and 1.79% respectively. From a quantitative perspective, this is the lost opportunity, which could have instead been invested into the campaign to produce a greater total return, as the test group has a higher conversion rate per dollar spent than the control group. However, from a qualitative perspective, the control group provided unquantifiable insight into the results of the advertising campaign. Additionally, if the control group was reduced in size, it would dampen the significance of the results. Hence, the current control group size was ideal for this campaign. And I'll pass it on to Emily to discuss the effectiveness of advertising.
Thanks, Shia. So undoubtedly, the number of impressions seen by a user influences purchase decisions. But a crucial question is the effectiveness of these impressions. From the graph, it can be seen that conversion rates for both the campaign and control groups have an upward trend as the number of displayed ads increases. However, this is quite minor and dispersed, and increasingly higher rates can also be attributed to the lower number of users being served the ads, as seen in the table. Moreover, it can be seen that the conversion rate of the control group drops out way before the campaign, highlighting how a campaign can always have a continued effect on conversion. It's also important to note the distribution of users, as highlighted by the statistics on the side of the slide. 200 ad viewing accounts for 99% of customers, and a similarly high rate of conversion, and this is quite significant for both groups, even into the 100 ad range. As we have found that 99% of customers and majority of conversions were in the 200 ad range, we've decided to take a closer look into this region. Here we can see the control group's conversion rate peaks at 15.7%, where 141 to 150 ads are displayed. Comparatively, in the campaign, only 81 to 90 ads were needed to achieve a similar conversion rate. This result is prevalent throughout the different ranges of ads. However, the most effective region for the campaign was 121 to 130 ads, with a conversion rate of 18.82%. The control group and campaign, however, display similar overall features, depicting the overall behaviour of customers. This proves again that advertising indeed is effective at converting customers. More specifically, the campaign was able to reach the same conversion rates as the control group with nearly half the number of ads. This gives TaskaBella an opportunity to utilise when designing the next campaign. Given a cost of roughly $10 to $15 per conversion, and the value of each conversion worth $40, TaskaBella can afford to increase the frequency of which ads are displayed. Increasing the number of impressions can be attempted by increasing bidding or focusing on a multi-channel communication strategy. Specifically trying to push ad viewing into the 100 to 200 range, where conversion rates are all higher than the peak of the control group. Consequently, target conversion rate may potentially increase, but it's still important to continually compare the cost of customer and conversion to ensure profitability. Now I'll be passing on to Vanessa, who will be going into detail of the best times to display ads.
Thanks, Emily. So despite restrictions in implementing control groups, such as lower conversion rates in display advertising, Rocketfuel drew insights about both the control and campaign groups and their conversion rates as functions of the day, of the week, and functions of the hours in a day. This will be paramount in informing TaskaBella of an advertising strategy to bring the greatest return on investment. Firstly, we discovered the overall greatest success for the campaign group and the emphasis on Monday's higher conversion rate at 2.26% and 3.32% for control group and campaign group respectively. When analysing the rest of the week, it's interesting that Friday contributes to the highest total views for both control and campaign group. We speculate that consumers are more likely to make a purchase at the beginning of the week, when they have a renewed budget, rather than when penny pinching towards the end of the week. So regarding conversion rates as functions of the hours in a day, the least effective hours to advertise were 11 p.m. to 9 a.m., given that consumers will not be online during this time to respond to ads or make any purchases. It is recommended to advertise during the times of 2 p.m. to 9 p.m., especially the peak of 8 p.m, as this corresponds to leisure time during consumers' night, and thus can convert to more sales. Interestingly, a high number of impressions don't necessarily convert a high number of sales, indicated in the period between 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We speculate that this is due to changing customer willingness to pay during the day, based on inability to purchase whilst at work or requiring more time to consider the purchase. Rocketfuel therefore recommends encouraging supply-side vendors to place ads during peak times, as this will contribute to ad visibility. Doing so benefits TaskaBella, as consumers are most likely to purchase at specific times of the day and week. Reports should be sent to inform vendors of optimal times and guide their budgeting activities. It is also favourable to lengthen the peak purchasing period by launching incentive campaigns outside of peak time, given the success of peak periods. Encouraging off-peak bidding can solidify TaskaBella's position as a retailer to a wider consumer market, rather than current peak time consumers. Finally, tailoring personalised ads according to customer behaviours such as willingness to pay during the day will allow for sales to increase as customer needs are more directly met at the time of purchase consideration. For example, Rocketfuel's internal algorithms that decide on ad placement and bids also identify individual factors that make an impression more or less likely to lead to a conversion. Rocketfuel therefore recommends customer analytics to inform the advertisements that will be placed at the beginning of the week.
Yep, thanks Vanessa. So in summary, the control group really provided us with valuable insight into the results of the TaskaBella advertising campaign run from 2015 to 2016. Some key highlights include the incremental lift of 29.8%, a return on investment of over 30%, with the campaign reaching the same conversion rates as the control group with nearly half the number of ads. So for future marketing endeavors, we recommend TaskaBella to increase the frequency of their ads, leverage both peak purchasing times as well as off-peak bidding, push ad viewing into the 100 to 200 range to maximize conversions, as well as to personalize advertisements through analyzing consumer trends and behaviors. Thank you for listening.